now a story. So sorry if I feel as though like there's nothing else to talk about with the Celtics. Is that what it is now? I mean, last year it was Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and the two don't get along, and one's better than the other. And that narrative, how'd that work out for Jason Kidd and the Mavericks that are now living on the island of irrelevancy? Which is true, by the way. But what was the point of announcing that? I don't understand. It's not a surprise either, and I don't think anyone should panic about it. He's been telling us he's had stuff lined up with the medical staff before the playoffs. So, I don't know. Duh! He's getting a shot in his knee before the playoffs. We know he's been dealing with it. So this is my take. I think the roles have reversed when it comes for the Celtics. I think Kristaps Porzingis has proven that he right now is the second best player on the team. There's no doubt about it. For the casual fan that just checks in, knows they're good, hey, wake me up in April. It's April, everybody. The Celtics' second best player is Kristaps Porzingis. It is. It's a fact. He's playing at an elite level. He's healthy. People have always said he can play that way when healthy. So you can make the argument that, oh, well, I don't think they can win a championship with Jaylen Brown being 75%. I do. The reason why they won last year and were one of the best teams of all time was because Jaylen Brown actually played to his ability. Something he really didn't do consistently. But he did it last year in the NBA playoffs, certainly Eastern Conference Finals MVP. I think it flips this year. I think Porzingis is now the guy that's the better matchup. Tatum's still going to be the guy. He's still going to threaten for a triple-double every night. Derek White's going to do his thing. Drew Holiday's going to play. Al Horford always rises to the occasion. I think this is the year they can benefit Jaylen Brown being 75 to 80% because of Kristaps Porzingis. So I told you this, and I'll take a victory lap. Why not? I told you they'd win as a front-running team last year. They doubled down on it and broke records this year with their three-point style. So don't give me it's the playing style while they're loose. I'm not having it. I'm not doing it. You can create the narrative. You can have the discussion. It's a waste of your time. It is. If you want to bring up the Jaylen Brown stuff, then please bring up that Kristaps Porzingis is playing at an elite level. If they could get all three, we wouldn't even need to have the season. Now, that's green teaming a little bit right there. The reality is Kristaps Porzingis right now is better than Jaylen Brown. That's a fact, everybody. I work these games every night. Porzingis has been amazing. Another thing I'll say about the Celtics quickly, and I know Gary Washburn had something on this morning. One overlooked reason for the Celtics' success this year was their refusal to skip steps. They had to be there was impatient moments, of course, right? It's the regular season. But this team was always judged off how they would perform in April and beyond. The Celtics mostly took the first 81 games seriously. There were moments when they lacked concentration, played poorly, or just at times weren't good enough and weren't able to respond from some setbacks. The Celtics haven't lost more than 2 games in a row since Mazzulla's first season as head coach. They produced the best road record in franchise history this year. They could have tied the record if they really wanted to. But the Celtics enter the final game of the year with now a chance to rest their starters. They can reflect on another successful regular season. I think they realize the road will be harder this year. Some people wanted to tell you last year, easy road. That's fine. They don't create the schedule. It looks like it's Orlando or Atlanta in the first round. Please. Oh, can the New York Knicks beat the Detroit Pistons? I'm taking the Pistons. Give me Celtics Pistons in a playoff. I know we saw it a little while ago. Pistons took care of business. I want the Celtics to get that test, so you don't give me the easy road, please. I also think the Pacers have a chance to beat the Cavs. I still think the Pacers are the Celtics' toughest opponent besides themselves. I don't know what's going to happen in the West. I don't know. I don't care for that matter. I'll tell you right now. The Celtics, I have told you, I already bet it. I bet it last year to repeat. It's going to happen. But this Jaylen Brown stuff, if you're going to bring up, you're concerned, you should also bring up the fact that Kristaps Porzingis is playing better basketball. And he's the reason why they won another 60 games this year, why they can continue to shoot the three, but they've been better defensively. And I think the Celtics' issues have been because of Jaylen Brown. Either way, 75, 80% of Brown, they still win this thing and repeat. Your thoughts there at 617-779-0985. I do want to get in some Red Sox stuff, too. I don't want to let them off the hook either. I got the playoff matchups if you want those, and what the Celtics have done against both Orlando and Atlanta. So if you want to get into that, you certainly can at 617-779-0985. Again, we're on YouTube. So I'll join the chat in a minute here. We'll get in there. You guys can come and hang out with us. Jeff Williams here as well. We don't have to just do sports. It's whatever you want on a Sunday. I'm Joe Murray here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Don't go anywhere. There's more Joe Murray. More Joe Murray.
Yeah, back here 98.5 The Sports Hub. Good morning. I work night, so sometimes people think I'm yelling. So maybe and Jeff is here today. Jeff Williams, everybody. J-Dubs. Maybe I did yell last week at that caller. Maybe I did.
You rose your voice just a tad.
But if you notice, now I'm doing Sunday morning, so I'm trying to like I almost went, because at night I'm like, Joe Burke! Like, I like yell. But that's not me yelling. I'm a large man. I always bring up the guy from Happy Gilmore. I'll see you in the park with the nail in his head. That guy. I'm not that big, but I just feel like my voice is like that guy, you know?
Oh, you can count.
Your ball landed on my foot.
Is this your ball? It struck my foot.
So again, I'm trying to go low today as it's morning time. I used to do morning radio, so I sometimes like to keep it low, but I have too much energy sometimes. So if you need the energy today, I can bring it. I got it today because it's the final round of the Masters. It's the final day of the NBA regular season. We got baseball today. Hockey's wrapping up as well. Some of the playoff standings there. Today's a day to lock it in. Just wanted to bring this up quickly. There wasn't a lot of sports on last night. You could have got BU Western Michigan, which BU lost. Shout out. There was UFC last night, but again, the casual fan, right? Is that what... Jeff, is that who I'm appealing to now on the radio?
The casual fan?
Yeah, because I felt like when I was part-time here and not on every day, I felt like I was bringing the UFC, the betting, the wrestling, just the stuff that wasn't mainstream. I felt like it was something I could add, you know? But now that I do this every day, I feel like, the typical... There are Celtics fans, but the typical... lazy, I can't wait for the game tonight, I'll wear my jersey crowd. They don't realize right now that the Celtics are crushing everybody, or you watch Cooper Flag in one game and you're like, he stinks. But yeah, it was just the greatest player at the age of whatever. You know what I mean? He was the best college player in basketball. From Maine, by the way. It's just, I feel like now that's who I'm speaking to. When I talk about the draft, it's people that don't want to try to watch college football, or I don't want to listen to what you say because these guys know nothing anyways, right? Which, by the way, I think it's big board week, right?
Oh yeah,
this is
coming.
The dart week, which that's been validated. So, listen, I could give you analysis on gambling, doesn't mean I'm going to be right. I can give you analysis on the draft, doesn't mean I'm going to be right. So I feel like this is who I'm speaking to now, is the casual fan. And again, I know there's diehards here. Don't get me wrong. We have Bruins fans that are school me. And, there's big-time Red Sox fans that know about Driveline and torpedo bats and stuff like that. So I get it. There's still the hardcore fan, and I want that. But I also just feel like last night there was no major sport on at night. Not one. Yes, you had the Masters all day, which was great. It was a great day. Absolutely great day. But I don't know, just Saturday nights used to be I would watch that game of the week, and I don't know if we're getting that mainstream. I don't know if everyone's just ramping up for today.
That could be it. It's also, this is kind of a slow time too. The regular season's winding down in NBA and NHL. We got playoffs around the corner. You said the Masters, the draft is coming up. Baseball just started. I think everything's simmering. It's simmering. Everything's cooking, and eventually it's going to pop.
So here we go. Okay, yeah. Because you know what?
WrestleMania next weekend,
Well, yeah, exactly. And I'll never forget, but do you remember that Kentucky Derby day? There was a Kentucky Derby day where I want to say it was there was 4 game 7s, 2 in the NBA, 2 in the NHL, the Derby day. And then at night it was I want to say it was Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather. Oh, remember there was a really big fight.
Yeah, it was a big day, yeah.
I felt like something else happened that day too. A lot going on there. Anyways, It's Sunday morning. We can talk about whatever you want at 617-779-0985. People in our chat are talking about the Red Sox. I'll just read a couple of these. The team stinks of losers, says Dave.
Weak-minded losers. They're definitely soft.
Oh, I didn't. Weak-minded. So they stink of losers. Weak-minded losers. Okay. The infamous Sneak Attack says, yep, we suck again. Is that a Rob Schneider line?
It's either that or it could be Major League.
Oh, yeah, yes. Major League. Yes, the fans. What else? Oh, Devers remembered how to hit the ball again, says Tom G. So a lot going on there. I'm trying. This was the year I was really in on the Red Sox and wanted to really break it down and, talk about competitive games. And, hey, Cora, you went to this pitcher here against, this hitter. And I loved all that. This team's hard to watch right now. I said they were likable. I loved what they did on opening day. I do. I did. I love what they did on opening day. I thought the coming back home and mashing the wall, like that was what they needed. But the Red Sox have lost 5 of 6, and they've lost 2 in a row to the White Sox that are the worst team in the last, modern era of baseball. Now, how long's baseball been around, Jeff?
100 and something years.
So let's just say 200 years.
Okay.
The White Sox were the worst team in baseball history.
Just seeing some of the ways they would lose was mind-blowing.
But yet, the Red Sox, because that was the speak. I heard it. I might even been guilty of it. Well, there's no better medicine than going to play the White Sox, right? Oh, they got the White Sox this week, and okay, how's that working? This team had somewhat of I don't want to call it potent, but they were hitting the ball, and now it's gone. They've scored 11 runs during in those 5 or 6 games I mentioned. They've scored 11 runs and have not hit a home run. So all this big swinging that's going on, you got this big swinging thing going on with no homers. That, I don't want to, use your imagination if you want on that one. But, where are the dongs? Where are the homers? Where are the taters? Who's going yard? Where are the homers? Where are the dongs?
Homers, baby. Homers. But not just homers. Dongs.
Where are the dongs? No home runs. None. This drive line, big swing stuff's got you nothing. Sorry, remember, it's morning time again. I got to tone it down for a second. They can't hit home runs. They can't hit. They can't hit home runs. They can't hit. They can't hit. They're batting 197 as a team during this 5 of the last 6 games. This one's good. They're batting 103 with runners in scoring position. 103? Is that real? Alex Core after the game. We have to start hitting. Just great. What? Is he a mercenary? No, Joe Sacco's a mercenary. That guy's there. He's out to hang out to dry. This guy got an extension. Is he even in charge? Seriously, I'm starting to wonder now. Guy signs this new deal, right? They spend some money. They're him and Breslow. They're boys, former teammates, right? All this stuff. Who's in charge? Is it the manager? Because I don't even think Breslow's in charge, to be honest with you. And, when it comes to actual, philosophy, is it the nerds?
Sam Kennedy runs the Red Sox.
Oh, is that what it is? So Sam Kennedy hired a bunch of nerds and said, drive line. And everyone's like, yeah. And you know what's funny? Someone mentioned this to me. The offense stinks. How could they score 3 runs in 17 innings against the White Sox? They had 11 strikeouts last night. They have 22 strikeouts in 2 games versus the White Sox. They have the most strikeouts in baseball right now with 158. The Rockies have the next at 143. Remember they scored 18 runs last week in the doubleheader? A week ago today, they scored 18 runs. Since then, they've scored 11 runs in 6 games. Like, is it the drive line? Is it the drive line? And again, this is where, like, when I was just talking about the audience and, you know, what they want to tune in for and what they don't. To me, drive line talk sucks. Like, you know, when it comes to approaches, if you want to tell me the Celtics shoot too many threes, well, when they suck and don't win a championship, then we can talk about that. But right now, shut it. But the Red Sox stink. They strike out too much. They can't hit. They don't hit home runs. What do I blame it on then? I can't blame the manager for people not hitting. Right? I can't. Is it the hitting coach, Fatsy? Is that his name, by the way? I gotta look this guy up. Hang on a second. Because this guy's gonna go down. And you know what? I don't think it's his problem. I think it's this
Pete Fatsay.
No, what is it? No, really.
Fatsay. I don't know. I'm not trying
Pete
to be
Fatsay?
mean.
Should I text Milliken? How do I say this guy's name? Fatsy. F-A-T-S-E, right?
Boy, he must have had a brutal childhood.
Wait a second. The Red Sox hitting instructors last... Oh, Jeff. They made him the hitting instructor. Okay. He's the hitting instructor. He's responsible for their approach at the plate. Became the assistant hitting instructor in 2019. Became the head guy in 2022. In 2021, there were a lot of double-digit strikeouts. They had 66 double-digit strikeout games. And then he became the instructor. In his first 2 seasons after becoming the instructor, the numbers dropped from 66 to 55, and then in the next year, 51. So Fatsy's done a good job. As far as strikeout numbers, now, right, I already told you the numbers this year, which isn't good. But he's actually shown progression as a hitting instructor. But then Breslow. Let's bring in the drive line, guys. Yeah. The Red Sox struck out at least 10 times in 84 games last year. This year, they've struck out 10 times in 11 of 16 games. They're on pace right now to have 111 games with double-digit strikeouts this year. Woof! That is horrible. So is it Fatsy or is it Driveline? Your thoughts at 617-779-0985. I'll give you the numbers again. The offense, 3 runs, 17 innings, 11 strikeouts. They had 22 in the series. Dick Fitz. He was doing well, and now he's going back to Boston because he's got a shoulder thing going on. Might help because Bayo and Giolito might be coming back soon, but I like Dick Fitz. Actually, nice little player. Aroldis Chapman finally gave up a run yesterday. That was bound to happen soon. I just don't want the excuses about cold weather. I'm out. You know what is interesting, though? The Red Sox are 6-9 playing at the White Sox since 2021. That's unacceptable. Unacceptable. And all these people that talk Red Sox playoffs, right? So they've missed the playoffs, 19, 20. So what are they right now? I just wanted to give you some of these numbers here regarding making the playoffs and their record. So the Red Sox record at the moment is 7-9, okay? So in 2018, they started off 12-2 in their first 14 games, made the playoffs. Then they started 5-9, 5-9, missed. In 2021, they started 10-4, made the playoffs. 2022, started 7-7, missed. 23, 6-8, missed. Last year started 7-7, missed. This year they're 7-9. These slow starts are curtailing them from making the playoffs. Do I even bring up the errors? So wait a second. They can't hit. They strike out. There's no power. They can't field. What can they do? What do they do? What is it you say you do? I got more strikeout numbers if you want them. I'm not blaming Fatsy. Your thoughts at 617-779-0985. Do I have to do one of those YouTube things to find out his real last name? I do that with hockey, Jeff.
Oh, I've done that with hockey names too.
The night that they traded for Hustadinov, you should have heard me and Skaz. Like that, dude. That was one of the ones where if Howie was here, I would have been like, dude, I don't even know.
Judd was always good at getting those names right, like right off the bat.
No, but I mean, imagine like just doing an update. How you're working with Howie and like, the Red Sox. He'll be like, hey, did you get that trade info? Yeah. And all of a sudden, you look on your phone quickly, and it's like, why do I say that name? Oh yeah, no. That night we were like,
then you say it wrong.
Konstantinov or something
from Howie in the other room.
And then the next day somebody goes, no, it's Hustadina, and I'm like, what? Where do you get that? All right. Well, let's go to the phones. Max is in Somerville. Hi, Max.
Hey, Joe. How's it going? So I want to make a couple points, one about the Red Sox and one about the Celtics quickly. About the Red Sox, I think we're just really getting obsessed with some of the acquisitions they made and are really hyping them up. But this is not a great team. Great teams usually have great pitching staff. And we're not one of the top 6 teams in the league in pitching staff. So batting is going to come and go, and that's why they're going to win some games and sometimes go on winning streaks. Sometimes they're going to go on losing streaks. But this is not a great team. I don't know why we're expecting them to sort of perform at a high level.
Hey, Max.
And then,
Max, real quick on that. Do you think I've said anything about the acquisitions today?
No, not specifically, but I think when we're having this larger conversation, it looks like our expectation is high.
Well, how about this? I've mentioned nothing about expectation, just besides records and making the playoffs. But let's just talk this out. How can we have expectations when they strike out 22 times in 2 games, and they have 158 strikeouts? Through 16 games. How can you even have like expectations when they're that bad?
Absolutely. Exactly my point, that you can't really have expectations, and then they will go on a winning streak. They will have those games where they, like last week when they blew the other team out, but that doesn't really mean anything. Like, we can't get excited when they perform really well. We can't really get too down when they suck, because this is not a great team. They will be a little bit above average compared to last year, but they're not a great team. That's what it comes down to.
Oh, yeah. No doubt about it. There was excitement that they made moves, and then they showed like they were serious about playing in October with some of these signings, so I give them credit for that. They could have done nothing. They could have done nothing and still struck out like this, by the way. Problem is, they did do something, and they're still striking out. Just like last year, they made moves at the trade deadline. They just didn't work. So, Craig Breslow makes move at the deadline, didn't work. Makes offseason signings, not working yet. They strike out a ton. Oh, and let's implement Driveline. So is that the manager? Or is that the general manager's philosophy? Interesting. Joseph is in the car. Hey, Joseph.
Hey guys, thanks for taking my call. I think you hit it right on the head. The driveline guys are ruining this lineup. I mean, they have a good lineup. They got hitters, but I think the analytics, they'd rather have strikeouts than they swing for the fences.
Yeah. Well, my problem is this: if you hit a couple of home runs, like here's the deal, right? Just to use this, if they hit home runs and they struck out 11 times a game, like it would still keep them in the game, and you understand the philosophy. You know what I'm saying? You're going to live and die by that.
But I think that's what these driveline guys want. It's either strikeouts or home runs. They don't want singles. They don't want doubles.
Well, there's no home runs right now.
Oh, I know. It's not working out. So they need to figure something out.
Well, what's the cutoff then to change? Like I don't know. Joe, I don't know. If I was a big home run hitter, right? Like, okay, here we are, second and third, bottom of the eighth inning. Like, I'm going to choke up a little bit to try to put the ball in play instead of going for the fences because, like, that's what you were taught to do at an early age. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Exactly.
Where is the baseball instincts is what I'm going with here.
Exactly. And I agree with you right then. And like, it's all analytics now. That's all it is. It's not working out. They hired these driveline. I knew these driveline guys were going to be a disaster for this
We're
team.
at 16 games. What's the cutoff? 40? 30?
Oh, man. I mean, mid-May. How many games are we in mid-May?
It's 7 to 9. I mean, listen, they're only 2 games under 500 right now, but it's disappointing.
I honestly don't really care about the standings till like mid-May. That's when I think it starts to really matter. I mean, it's early on. But they got to figure it out, man. They got to. If it's the analytics or, I mean, these teams they know where to pitch these guys. If you watch these games and you see like Castus, they pitch him down low.
God.
You see Devers, they pitch him up high. It's like the other teams are doing it too. But I think it's just too much in the Red Sox head of what these driveline guys are telling them to swing at. What's coming their way, and it's messing them all up. It really is, because that's not how baseball's played. Like,
oh, I hung up on him. That was me. I'm sorry to that. We got to go to break, but real quick, going forward here, Jeff, I'm going to make a rule. I created the monster, so again, it's my fault. Usually, most of the problems in my life are my fault, but I don't want to use the word driveline anymore. I want to eliminate it because. Yes, they do have a new philosophy. Yes, the philosophy is not working. But at some point, there's got to be like baseball instincts, right? Like in basketball, the three's not falling, right? So what do? Drive to the hole, right? It's just kind of.
The Celtics do that?
Like Tony Romo, well, I don't know, Jeff. Sometimes they do. But here's the deal. The Celtics, like I said, if the Red Sox just hit home runs, like hit 4 home runs a game and struck out the rest of the games and won, we wouldn't say a thing. Think about that. But no, I mean, I'm sure the analytic people or some real statisticians will be like, besides a home run, they do nothing and strike out. But it sounds like that's what they want, right?
That's exactly what they want.
But there's 0 home runs, so now what? So I just say, how about baseball instincts? Just instincts. Like you pay guys, I don't know, Jeff. Oh, Jim's on the call today, right?
Oh, yeah. He has to be on the Masters.
All right, well, we got to take a quick break. I went late there. I got a player A versus player B, Jeff, for you next. I want to match up who you. Okay, we'll do that next here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
You're listening to Joe Murray on 98.5.
All right, back here 98.5 The Sports Hub. I'm Joe Murray. Good morning. Well, the people are in on out on the Red Sox at the moment, but they're in on the chatter of the Red Sox, and I wouldn't blame the fat tea guy. Wouldn't blame him. Some guy goes, Joe loves doing the oops, I hung up on my bed, and then coincidentally has to go to break. Well, I do. I do that. So, yes, you're right.
It's not a work.
No, he's right. He's LOLing about it. But you're right. I do that. Joe, I'm going to need a full segment on Mania. Well, we're here till 12:30. People are saying Jim Rice for hitting coach. No. Do you know though, I got to tell you this, Jeff. When they lose and Jim Rice is on postgame, I haven't seen a guy more proud.
He's such a spiteful person. That's what I love about him.
You know what, though? Kiss the ring, right? I mean, like, he's a Hall of Famer. He went there. He discussed. He saw something, and he got dismissed. Like, imagine telling Louis Tiant, hey, don't show them that we want the the Terminator. we don't want that ball.
I just watched that the other day.
What was the other one? Not the one that Parkman called it. Not that one. What was his other pitches that he had? It was the Terminator. Now I got to look this up. Wild Thing Vaughn's pitches. Wild Thing Vaughn. That's been on a ton. I think it came out like 30 something years ago.
Yeah, like 95 or
something like Wild Thing Vaughn pitches. Terminator. Here we go. There was another one. He had like an arsenal. Oh, the Eliminator, the Humiliator, and the Terminator, his fastball. And then, Parkman hits it and tells him to rename it something else. I love those like corny, cheesy comedy like that. Even though it's not really cheesy, it's just like back and forth.
That jabbing. 90s, 80s like type of humor, yeah.
Like Hot Shots. Where is there any more? Is there another Hot Shots?
Well, they're coming out with the new Naked Gun.
In on that.
I am too.
Did you see them? Liam Neeson looked at his father's photo. And then the other guy looked at his father's photo, and then the other guy, when he saw his father's photo, Norberg's son saw his father, and he goes, nah.
Just gave the camera a look like, what do you want me to do here?
Nope, out on that one. Out. Joe, is golf really a sport or a game? I say game. Oh, God. It's a good one. Is it a sport or a game?
No, it's a game.
Well, what's NBA? Is that a game?
That's a sport.
But don't they play?
You doing this right now?
Well, it's Sunday.
I know.
In or out? Golf being a sport. (617-779-0985). In or out? Golf is a sport. Stan in Hawaii. Aloha, buddy. I'm not a baseball guy, but I usually like to talk about to keep me updated. This year has been the least interesting talk I can remember. It's all analytical talk all the time. So boring. Stan, yes. Yes. I'm guilty, okay? Guilty. Smelt it, dealt it kind of thing. Going forward, the driveline analytical talk I don't want to do anymore because I feel like you should have instincts. And the Red Sox don't. Runner on second and third, 2 outs. Choke up on the bat. Do you know what happened when they won in extra innings? The other day, they won on an infield hit. Do you think they wanted to hit the ball in the infield? Did they even think about bunting a guy over with 1 out? Or 2, what was it, 1 out already? Yeah. Because the new rules. Just my whole thing is, When does the baseball player see the ball towards the outside and go the other way with it? Like, it's just the instincts are gone. They're gone. And you're right. It is boring. Talking about drive line. It's boring. At the same time, they're not hitting home runs. So in a way, I want to respect the fact that they thought about drive line and home runs to like get more home runs on the board and make it more exciting because chicks dig the long ball, all that stuff. Well, they're doing nothing now but strike out and can't field. It's horrible. It's horrible. It's really boring. Justin's on the Red Sox. What's up, buddy?
Hey, Joe. I just have some thoughts. And can I just tell you something? I am out on analytics, and, the Red Sox lost yesterday because they didn't put the ball in play and they can't hit, and they have a real issue, and their defense is awful at first base. They need to get another first baseman. Your thoughts, please?
Oh, my God. We talked about this the other night, Justin. They need a left-handed glove first baseman. Romy Gonzalez cannot play first. I'm sorry. His footwork on the bag is terrible. I'm no expert at playing first base, but let me tell you, when the ball's hit right behind the second base bag, can you please put your heel on the furthest corner to the front corner, please? Don't put it on the left corner. Like, this guy doesn't know where to put his feet. Now, Cassis, he tried to make a double play the other day, bobbled it and slipped on the field. It happens, right? But it's him who's struggling, though. I would love to see a left-handed first baseman here. Glove. I'm not saying they need it every time, but it would just be relaxing. I don't know. Dom Smith was here. I'm trying to think. Oh, Anthony Rizzo's available. How about him? He sucks, but, like, he's lefty. At some point, right? I mentioned we got to go to break. Sorry. At some point, they got to think about just like the young kid. If the young kids are just going to hit in Worcester, right? Why don't you bring them up to hit? But like, here I am going back to Mookie Betts and the minors, right? Remember, he just like kept hitting and hitting and hitting, and at one point they're like, "Hey, we got to bring him up," and then he just never stopped hitting until you traded him.
No, he's still hitting.
Oh, yeah, no, and go get it. And I don't even want to mention it, but it became public this week that the Red Sox traded him. Like, I needed a reminder from you. All right, I'm going to break now. I'm Joe Murray, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
More Joe Murray coming up on the Sports Hub.
I don't want to mention the drive line analytics anymore. How about use your baseball instincts? The big swings aren't leading to home runs. And at some point, when do you consider bringing up the guys that are actually hitting in the lower levels, such as Roman Anthony, Marcelo Meyer? So we'll leave it there. 617-779-0985. My opening take was, if you're going to talk about the Celtics and their run to the playoffs or finals this year, and you're concerned about the knee of Jaylen Brown, that's fine. Just remember, though, the Celtics' second best player right now is Kristaps Porzingis. I said that Kristaps Porzingis would be a better addition than Damian Lillard. I'll take the victory lap. I know there's people out there who think that the Celtics don't need Porzingis. This year they do. This year they do. And their success of late in getting to 60 wins has been because of Porzingis. Also, someone asked the question, is golf a game or a sport? And I figured I'd throw that out there. Steve's in Fall River. Steve?
Good morning.
Morning.
Joe, I want to weigh in on this. Golf is not a sport. It's definitely not a sport. It's a game. It's most applicable to billiards. Consider it outdoor billiards. And the two reasons why. The major reason is no one is trying to defeat you. No one is defending you in golf. You amble along the course with somebody holding an umbrella over you as you. Oh, they walk 18. Somebody holding an umbrella over you while you sashay down the course. You can't talk. You can't this. You can't that. I'll give you a real world example. Tom Watson, 59 years old, almost won one of the major championships. Joe, 59-year-old guy almost won the so-called sport. How is that even possible? Meanwhile, that day, Joe, Wimbledon was going on. Andy Murray went into extra sets and lost to Roger Federer. There were three former champions they showed in the audience, way younger than 59. One of them was Bjorn Borg. One of them was the American. I can't think of it. Pete Sampras. Thank God it came to my head. There was another one. I don't think as they watched the extra sets going on, I don't think anything crossed through their mind like, man, I could be out here. Man, I'm 45. I think I could be out here in the extra set, almost going to win Wimbledon. Why did I retire? Yet a 59-year-old guy, 59 years old, almost won the frickin' major championship in golf.
Thank you, Steve. I thought I heard a swear there. I don't know why. No?
I think he said tricking.
Oh, okay. You heard that. I did. I heard something different. I don't know, is my mind in the gutter? What happened there?
Where is your mind?
Yeah, where is my mind? I mean, he makes 59 year old. All right, fine. So I don't care if it's a sport or a game. How about that? I am curious though what people think. You think it's a game?
Yes, I consider it a game because I feel like anyone can play. Felger made this point. I think within the last week, where he went golfing with Shane Lowry, and Shane Lowry brought because Felger asked him, he was like, "Why do you play with like guys like us? Like you're a professional." And he's like, "Oh, with the handicaps and everything, we go out with advertisers like bigwigs and stuff like that." He's like, "It's just a game, man. Everyone's just playing. I can still do my thing. They can still do their thing. It's great."
Oh, okay. I didn't know that story.
Shout out Fawn's Golf League too, by the way.
Where's that?
That is the PGA 2K league that I'm a part of. Fawn's Golf. We're ruling the world right now.
Video game?
Video game, yes.
Oh, I used to play that old PGA Tour golf game.
Tiger Woods.
What was it? I don't know, because I feel like it was like 90s, like early 90s.
They had PGA Tour on like Sega
It was
Genesis
great. You could
like
you used to be able to make your own greens if you could create.
Well, you can do that in PGA 2K now. We play fantasy courses and stuff.
Do you like that indoor simulator stuff?
I've only done it like once or twice. It's not bad.
It's fine. I used to go. There used to be this place. It doesn't exist anymore, but it was in Norwood growing up. Man, I can't say Norwood normally. There's a place called Mad Maggie's. It was good pizza.
It's an ice cream place in North Andover.
Oh wow! But they had pool and I think they had like an indoor golf simulator thing before it was like big. Whatever happened to Mad Maggie's in Dedham or in Norwood? Maybe Greg will know. Greg's in Roslindale. Is it Roslindale or Rosendale?
Joe, aren't you from Hyde Park?
Yeah, but it says Rosendale on our screen.
Oh, well, that's not on me. It's Roslindale.
All right, just wanted to make sure. What's up, buddy?
Not too much.
Hey,
Joe.
what's
How
going
you
on with
doing?
the Pleasant Cafe? I heard a story.
What's the story you heard? I heard they're filming another movie in there.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, all right. So
What are you hearing?
I just hope that it's not going anywhere.
No. The establishment like that is got staying power, Joe.
Okay.
So first of all, I wanted to weigh in. I mean, golf's definitely a game. The broadcasters call it as much on television. The players call it a game. So it's definitely a game. I don't know about that comp about outdoor billiards. You can't play golf in a bar. But, I think it's a wonderful game that some people make millions of dollars playing. So that's pretty good. Question for you, Joe. Easter Sunday is coming up next week. Wanted to know, are you in or out on Easter ham? I'll hang up and listen.
So growing up, we did ham. And it doesn't have to be ham, though. I am going to some sort of Vegas buffet. Haven't decided yet, but, the plethora of options, Jeff. Last night, I peaked.
I feel like I've seen a video of like one of the best like buffets ever, and it's in Vegas, and I was just like, oh my God, the damage I would do in that place.
So I have 3 options because I'm going with Sarge. I'm not going to share this story. But anyways, the other guys are going to a Rikishi brunch. And it's, of course, a day of the Lord. So I got to go find a brunch spot. And I have the rankings.
I know a guy that might be able to find you a brunch spot.
Okay. I have the Vegas rankings of best brunch. So because I don't want to just go with the favorite, I like to, I'm down to 3. There was 5. If you got suggestions, I'm in. Plus, just remember, it's Easter Sunday, so I need all the fixings. I need eggs, sausage, bacon, home fries, corned beef hash. I want to choose between a raisin bread, a bagel, a croissant, a muffin. Maybe you have scones. I don't know.
You a Belgian waffle guy?
I'll go Belgian waffle if they have it. If they have the little cream with the blueberries and cherries, I'll do all that too. Chicken and waffles in. Are you going to have one of those Carver slicer guys with the ham and the prime rib? I want it all.
Watch the game last night?
I want it all. Seriously, I want it all. I want to eat everything at a buffet in Vegas next week. Whatever you can give me, I want it. Did I miss anything on the menu, or did I got to nail all the breakfast options? Is there an omelet station? Can I get an omelet? I need all the fixins. Some guy goes, golf is horseshoes on a bigger playing board. I love
much.
Dude, we used to have a major horseshoe tournament in our buddies. Like, it was huge. We built our own pits and everything in Hyde Park. Imagine a horseshoe tournament in Hyde Park. Like, what the hell are we doing? Oh, we definitely played for money, no doubt about it. Oh, we'd have to have hired judges. Did you know that? And sometimes we'd have to like measure the horseshoe to see like how far, who was the closest to the. Like, it got wild, bro. I don't know what happened with that. Anyway, 617-779-0985. That's the phone number. Well, the Red Sox stink. I do have some Celtics. I already mentioned Celtics. I already mentioned Red Sox. Patriots. Got some Patriots stuff on there. Let's see what else I have. I wrote myself a rundown today. We did Celtics. I got some numbers for you regarding the Celtics playoff opponents. The Bruins, got some stuff on them. And some Patriots notes today. And I'm trying to keep the show light today, but it's hard for me not to think of Kairen Lacy today. Played at LSU, was a star player. Found dead in his hotel room today, or found dead in Houston today. And a projected first-round pick. And for anyone who knows about this player, let's face it, LSU is a factory for wide receivers throughout the league, right? Justin Jefferson, Kayshon Boutte was one of them. Malik Neighbors last year was a guy that was drafted. I mean, there's been a ton of just players that have come out of LSU, and I know Jaden Daniels, but he was arrested in January for a hit and run. He was charged with negligent homicide, and I think it's affected him, and it affected him in his draft stock. And forget about that, it affected his life. And I'm not going to speculate on what happened here, but there's reporting on the cause of death. And I can't help but think about that right now, and him and maybe his mental health at the time, the pressure. I mean, he's 11 days away from something he probably dreamed about, getting drafted to the NFL. And the news today, no longer with us. 617-779-0985. We'll take a quick break. I'm Joe Murray here on the Sports Hub.
Don't go anywhere. There's more Joe Murray. More Joe Murray. On the way on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Back here in 98.5 The Sports Hub. I'm Joe Murray. Good morning, everybody. Be sure to join me tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, full show. It's our final full show before I'm going to Vegas for WrestleMania. And then the playoffs start. So we have the end of the hockey season on Tuesday night. They'll be playing games this week for the Celtics. And then they'll know their opponent. It's either going to be Orlando or Atlanta. I'll just give you the numbers on that real quick. The Celtics actually somewhat struggled against Orlando in their last 7 games. The Celtics have a 3-4 record the last 7 games against the Magic. Their last 7 games against the Hawks, 5-2. So, I think you know who the more difficult opponent is based off of that. I don't really need to get into more details. 617-779-0985. I'm going to ask Jeff in a few minutes. I'm going to do player A versus player B, and I want you to tell me who they are. So we'll do that coming up in a minute. But let's talk to Al. He's in Florida. What's up, Al?
Well, I want to tell you, and I'm not going to overreact over a couple of weeks of the baseball season. I'm only saying now what I said before the season. And this team is just, I mean, they don't, they're playing a White Sox team that lost 121 games last year. They had a 22-game losing streak of whatever. They lost 10 in a row going in. And, you know, everyone got so excited. We got Greg Bregman. He's had 3 bad years in a row, but all of a sudden he's going to be a savior. If they didn't have the pitcher that's pitching today, I don't know where they'd be, because he is the one really good move they've made. Like you mentioned a little while ago, these 2 guys that are sitting in Worcester, you got to call them up. How do you take a guy like Campbell, a supposedly top player, one day's at second base, next day's in left field? You don't do that. The other day, Cora, who everyone loves, Cora, you know, the cheetah. I call him the cheetah. That's my nickname to Felga, the cheetah. The cheetah pitches to Toronto, to one of their best players. And then the left-hander Wagner is up next. So I can't think of his name all of a sudden from Houston. But anyway, I don't think anyone knows what they're doing there. The closer is notoriously wild. He hasn't been a closer in 5 years. And everyone, including Shaughnessy, who I love, he's just my guy, thinks they did the greatest thing because they signed Bregman. But in the meantime, they didn't sign Mookie Betts. I know I'm going back a long time, but that's the one that changed the whole way. And if they think by signing Bregman, that's going to make up for Mookie Betts, then they might fool a few people, but not following the real baseball people.
All right, Al. Sure. Yeah. Yep. I will credit them for signing Bregman, because he even said himself he was going to Detroit. I was excited about the team. They are not good right now. We're still talking about Mookie Betts, huh? Do we still
it's time to let it go, man.
Do we still talk about Brady?
Sucks, but
like, Brady's retired and it just opened another card shop called Card Vault, which I stream on Tuesdays with them. So, like, Brady's been gone for 5 years. How long's Mookie been gone? 2020? Yeah, right?
yes.
Like, guys, we got to move on. It's just, I mean, I know that the World Series MVPs are at the Shriners this weekend, but, like, it's time to move on. It's just like, how much more can we talk about them trading Mookie Betts? I mean, is it? Are they cursed now? Should we start a new curse? Maybe Volan can start that one. I don't know. Like, who can start that? Oh, Riz not a fan of Cora's gray beard. Tom says that Theo's in charge. Is he? Another person says Chaim Bloom sabotaged the Red Sox. Okay. I'm not going to bring up the analytics, but I would just suggest that maybe use or get players with baseball instincts instead of this philosophy. By the way, I got one more. This bothered me the other night. Who'd they beat? Toronto. You know this extra inning thing, Jeff? They put a runner on second with an out. Has anyone ever thought about bunting the player over? Is it just no? Because I don't know.
I guess it depends on who you have at second.
Okay, well, let's just say it's David Hamilton or Jaron Duran. And you have, let's just look at today's lineup. How about that? Let's say you have Ceddanne Raphael at the plate. Would you bunt him over?
Absolutely.
Okay. The other night, did you know they won the game on a I still don't even know what the box score was. But Trevor Story had the walk-off win. But he kind of nudged the ball to first base, and they kind of didn't know what to do with it, and the guy scored, and it was one out. So that's how they won. But think about that. What if that was a bunt? Just where are the baseball instincts?
Why didn't you see my buddy brought this up the other night too? Why do you not intentionally walk the first batter too?
Yeah, to force the double play.
Yeah. Why don't more teams do that?
Whoa, good one. By the way, Chapman's been okay besides last night.
Yeah, I've had no issues with him.
For 6 games, he was perfect. And last night,
There'll be that one game he throws a 98-mile-an-hour fastball, and boom.
Kind of sucks losing last night to the White Sox. But you know what? If you just hit the ball, baseball. You get this wood, right? And then somebody sews together this yarn that makes it a baseball, and then you throw it and you swing. So they can't even defend, dude. Were there 5 errors the other night? Stink. Let's take this call, and then I want to do player A versus player B. Rob is in Situate. Hey, Rob.
Joe, how's it going, buddy? How are you?
Good.
Good. Hey, Vegas, you been to the Pepper Mill at all anytime you've been out there?
I'm going. I got it lined up.
Dude, so check out the Pepper Mill either late night or for breakfast in the morning. Great lounge, great drinks, unbelievable food. They don't gouge you like a lot of the other places gonna. Just a cool vibe. It's been in 100 different Vegas related movies and whatnot. And I'll be out there the 21st. I don't know if you're still going to be there by then.
I am coming home that night, but I plan on. I thought about late night going to In-N-Out Burger.
Yeah, solid option.
Because I could go somewhere like a steak, but why don't I just go to what I know? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I want to try the animal fries. Is that what they're called?
Yep.
You never been?
I know I've been.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying. After WrestleMania, I want to eat my feelings, and
get your burger animal style too.
Ooh, cheese it up.
Yeah.
I love cheese. Have you ever been to a weed bar out there?
A what?
It's called a weed bar.
No, I haven't. They got a bunch of places on the strip that they say dispensaries and CBD, but they're not. You can't. I don't think they can sell it on the strip. There are certain locations that.
Have you been to a cigar? Have you ever been to a cigar bar?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can go in and just smoke cigars. I love that. Can I do that in Vegas?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. All right. Well, thank you. What was the spot again? Oh, Pepper Mill. I got it. I haven't been there yet, though. I'm excited.
Dude, it's awesome.
What should I order?
Any breakfast related stuff.
All right. Did I miss anything when I mentioned all the food that I'm going to eat?
No, they got it all. They got all that.
I think I know. They're going to have that slicer of the ham and the roast beef and the prime rib.
That I don't know. It's not a traditional brunch, but they got a huge menu.
All right. I'm going to check it out, Rob. Thanks, buddy. I feel like it ain't brunch unless there's a guy serving me. Like the
big old fat T-bone.
Yeah, and then you got the two, like they use that little fork poker and like a little thing, and they just hand it to you.
He's just standing there, like sharpening the knives.
And there's always like I want to call it a jus, but it's like something you pour on whatever they give you. Like maybe it's the hot honey. That
stuff's everywhere now. It is so good. I went to Night Shift Brewery the other day. They put like some sort of like hot honey
the
like
pizza's
oil on their
incredible.
pizza.
Oh my God. Dude, do you know they have one of the most, that was a Detroit style I think they do there.
Yes, Detroit is so good.
So Volo is my number one. Shout out to Tony out there. I like Gino in Avenue. They're good. But no, they do good. For a pizza in a bar, fantastic. They do that hot honey, pepperoni, the burnt edges.
Yeah, the cup pepperoni too. Oh.
Today's Red Sox lineup is out. There's an adjustment in today's lineup. Leading off is Jaron Duran, followed by Rafael Devers, then Alex Bregman. They have removed Tristan Casas out of the cleanup role. Wilyer Abreu now batting fourth, followed by Trevor Story. Tristan Casas goes to 6. Campbell, Narvaez, and Rafaela. Now, they have moved Casas in the lineup, which brings up my player A versus player B. You ready for this one? All right, Jeff. Remember Bobby Dalbec?
Yes.
What are your thoughts on Bobby Dalbec?
Eh.
Eh.
He didn't do much for me. I mean, he was yeah.
In the end, he struck out too much, right?
Yes.
And then he moved on. Okay. So I'm going to give you player A and player B. You tell me if it's Casas or Dalbec. Ready? 895 plate appearances. This is going into yesterday's game. 895 plate appearances, 43 home runs, 112 RBI, 108 runs, 811 OPS. Player A. Player B, 898 plate appearances, 45 home runs, 133 RBI, 103 runs, 754 OPS. Who is player A? Who is player B?
I'm going to go Dalbec A, Casas B.
Casas A, Dalbec B. So, they basically have the identical numbers and the same amount of at-bats. Casas' OPS is higher because it doesn't strike out as much. Dalbec's lower. This goes back to Cross Sports for a minute. When I went to camp, I said Bailey Zappi better than Mac Jones. The hell that I took for that, by the way, which I was right. The problem with that is Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi shouldn't have been on the same plateau. Get what I'm saying? They shouldn't have been on the same level.
More of a slide on Mac Jones than it is on
Correct.
Bailey Zappi.
Now, Casas, who talks about hitting 40 home runs and wants an extension, is on the same plateau as Bobby Dalbec? Vomit! This guy sucks. He's Bobby Dalbec. Would the Red Sox want him because he struck out a ton but hit home runs?
Yeah.
He could hit a home run. No doubt about that guy. Struck out a lot, though. Well, today they moved Casas from 4 to 6. Message. I love the old player A versus player B. But, these are facts. This isn't an opinion.
Yeah,
This
you
isn't
didn't pull
a
those
take.
numbers out of the wind.
No, it's just Tristan Dalbec. By the way, Dalbec, better defense. Should I throw that in there, too? And I had fun with this one the other night, but does Casas look like Jimmy Fallon?
A little bit.
I just feel like every time I see him, he's going to give me some sort of giggle, or like, I got my white pants on, like doing some sort of bit, Like Cassis has had, a couple of good months in his career. The rest suck. They're on pace, dude, to strike out 1,600 times this year. Only 32 teams have struck out 1,500 or more times in a season. Did you know that 4 of those 32 made the playoffs? The last one was the Twins in 2023. Bob's in Lawrence. Hey, Bob.
Joe, good morning. How you doing, man?
Morning, buddy.
All right. We got the draft coming up, of course. And you were on the morning show back in the day, 2022. When we heard every Monday morning that the Patriots have a top 5 young core. I don't know if you remember that, but that's the key to this draft is the Patriots somehow developing a top 5 young core. Wouldn't you say?
I'm sorry. I'm not understanding. The core?
You don't remember a co-host that used to be on the morning show that used to always tell us every Monday that the Patriots have a top 5 young core?
Oh, yeah, and that they should trade for Anthony Davis. Yeah.
It's a 2022 season when Matt Patricia was calling the offense and Matt Jones was calling
I'm sorry.
the Alabama.
I got you now. Sorry, I have PTSD. I'm sorry.
Oh, me too. But seriously, I mean, they didn't have a top 5 young core in 2022, but you get Matt Light in the draft like they did in 2001. You get those late round picks, and they could really turn this thing around real quick. Don't you think?
Yeah, who are the Patriots? Who are the Patriots pillars right now?
I don't think they have a top 5 young core. I mean, Christian Barmore, maybe if he gets healthy.
Who?
Well, Christian Arcand could be, but I think Christian Barmore might.
I got my white pants. On. Jimmy Fallon's always doing something.
Oh, he stinks.
He had Triple H on this week. Did you see that? And do you know what he did? What would you do if you had if you think corn, like real corny?
Did he do the water spit thing?
No. Well, I don't know. I didn't see that. That'd be one idea. No, he brought up terrorizing. And what he looked like originally when he first came up, and then how they turned him into Jean-Pierre or Levesque or whatever.
Yes.
And they just basically went with that route.
Hey, this was you back in 1991.
Yes. Look at you with your long hair and bleached.
Look at you. You look so different now.
You French accent. I can't unsee Jimmy Fallon.
No, and that's all I'm going to see now too. And it's going to infuriate me. I'm going to hate this kid forever now.
Anyways, I sometimes don't know what people are talking about when they call in. I'm like, what? But like, you know how you erase, people remember, right? The North remembers.
People don't forget.
Speaking of that, are you a Last of Us fan?
No, I tried playing the video game, and I don't know. I couldn't get into it.
Dude, the show? Oh, man. Let me tell you. What was like the last thing I remember anticipating was Better Call Saul. I think that was like the last show that I remember, like, can't wait for this thing to come back, Last of Us, though. This thing. Pedro Pascal is... Dude, is he becoming like one of the most likable actors?
He seems to be in everything, too.
He was in Game of Thrones. He had somewhat of an interesting role in that. I loved him on Saturday Night Live. I don't know if you ever saw it. Well, one night, maybe you heard it on the night show, but I sang Joe Espresso. You know the song Espresso?
Yeah, yes.
Thinking about me every night. Well, they did this bit on her meeting a guy named Domingo.
Yes, and they ran that into the ground real fast.
Well, when Bad Bunny was on, they had Domingo and Benito. But so, Pedro, and then they had another one, and Pedro Pascal. It was hilarious, but it was with the parents. Hey, go watch the bit. It's funny. Anyways, hey, we're late again. I'm Joe Murray, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
You're listening to Joe. You're listening to Joe Murray on 98.5. You're listening.
All right, back here at 98.5 The Sports Hub. Got a Masters thought coming up at the top of the hour. Feel free to call in 617-779-0985. I know Jeff had a big week. We'll get into that shortly. I just want to knock out a couple of Bruins stuff. Kevin Paul DuPont today in the Boston Globe mentioned that we're all left to wonder how changes or what changes will be ahead by October. This again, Kevin Paul DuPont, not Joe Murray. When fans will face prices boosted an average 13% above what they were forked out just 24 months earlier. Oh, Jeff, the prices are going up for the bees. Is that true? I didn't know that.
From what I was told, yes.
Oh, well, according to the Boston Globe. Not us, the Globe. So he also gives a quick synopsis of what Jacobs, Neely, and Sweeney need to address. So does that mean that Neely and Sweeney are back? Okay. Number one is add an elite center. As prolific as David Pastrnak has been, he needs a center. Without Pastrnak doing what he did this season in the past 3 100-point seasons, well, they can no longer be bottom of the barrel bet. They need to decide on a coach if it's not Joe Sacco. Goes on to say Jacobs, Neely, and Sweeney, like they're the Holy Trinity, have cooked up the dog's breakfast. The bet here is they'll bring in a high-profile bench. The likes of, you ready for this, Jeff? Joel Quenneville, Peter Laviolette, Gerard Gallant.
I would take Laviolette.
He was already here, right?
I don't think so. He might have been an assistant at some point. I don't recall. I know Sullivan was an assistant here.
I didn't see Leach's name in there.
I don't want anything to do with Quenneville, though.
Yeah.
Still a big stink on him.
Laviolette's from Franklin. Yeah, he was actually... but yeah, only Providence. That's where he was. Providence head coach. But it sounded familiar to me for some reason. Okay. What was his last job? He was with the Rangers, right?
Yes.
He replaced Gallant. And they actually did very well, didn't they? They won the President's Trophy, right? And then is that okay, yeah. See? I mean, at some point, when is it not the coaches? Whatever. We can do this another day. This is another note by KDP. The loyal, honest, competent Sacco deserved better. But if those were key metrics, Bruce Cassidy wouldn't have been given the summer of the 2022 Skidoo. So there's some notes on the Bruins really quick.
I mean, Monty deserved better, and he has better now.
Blues are doing pretty well. See that? Jeez. So you had a big week, music-wise, right?
Oh, yeah. Deftones Tuesday and the Used Wednesday night.
Deftones, huh?
Deftones was awesome. So good. Oh.
How was Chino? Was he in shape?
Yes, he is in shape. He's sober.
Good.
He was amazing. He's jumping around.
I've seen him like...
This was like the fourth time I've seen him. Is the best show he's ever put on.
I saw him in like the probably early 2000s maybe.
Yeah, 2001 was the first time I saw him.
He was out of shape, couldn't breathe.
He got fat, yep.
Definitely self-inflicted. I couldn't understand a lot what he was saying. It wasn't like dude from
Vince Neil?
Yeah, it wasn't Vince Neil. Wasn't that bad, but it was almost worse. Because like Vince Neil is just, everyone's just drunk and banging their head, right? Deftones, you kind of want to hear the lyrics, right? Don't you want to like...
I mean, some songs you can't really understand the lyrics. You just want to hear the music, and that's why I destroyed my neck after like the second song.
So you went to the Used, which I guess is pop punk?
Yeah, like emo punk.
Emo, okay. And you were in a mosh pit.
Yes, I was like right there, dead center on the floor, and it was awesome.
Were people your age?
Yeah, there was a lot of people my age, and then there was young kids as well, yeah.
So people in their late 30s, early 40s were mosh pitting?
Yes, it was intense. Crowd surfing, it was, yeah.
Imagine me in a mosh pit. I wouldn't have it. I went to a Tool concert. Somebody bumped into my buddy, and my buddy literally to his face goes, "If you do that to me again, I'm going to punch you in your face." And he does it again, and my buddy punched him in the face.
Were you on the floor?
No, we were in the grass of the what do you call that there? Great Woods there.
Xfinity Center.
Yeah.
The lawn section.
The guy wanted to get punched in the face. It was weird. Since we're on music, there is no music entertainer that I have done a complete flip-flop on than Bob Dylan. I used to always kind of I was ignorant about Bob Dylan, meaning I never really looked back at it, his influence. I just always kind of like thought about it as like he, like, I just always thought that was him, and just he's never was warm and receptive for me. I don't know. I just never. Once the We Are the World came out and I've watched the outtakes, I kind of loved them a little bit. But I never got into, like, when people talk about Bob Dylan, I'm like, God, I don't want to hear this right now. Or if someone tells you how much, like, they love Dylan, like even Hootie and the Blowfish, put on a little Dylan. It's like the way that everybody talks about Dylan, I didn't have the same feelings. But I watched the Complete Unknown. It was spectacular. And I'm sure we know the nuts and bolts of Bob Dylan, the way he came up, the Joan Baez stuff, his impact when it came to, the Vietnam War and what was going on in the world, etc. But it was really done well. And the guy who played it was spectacular. The music was great. The Johnny Cash, June style, it was all in there. Edward Norton was awesome. He was the guy Seeger there. That kind of helped him get going. But it was all about the Folk Festival of Newport. Imagine, you ever been to that? Would you ever go to that? See, I don't know how I would. And that's the thing. Coming up, my big takeaway from it was Bob Dylan pissed everybody off by playing an electric guitar at a folk fair. But he could do whatever he wanted to do. Like, he could play with B.B. King. He could, you name it. So the movie, I know some things were inaccurate, but for the most part, it was about a book that he wrote, and he supported it. But I'll ask you, Jeff, did you ever consider Bob Dylan folk?
No, because, like, my age, you consider Bob Dylan like classic rock, I guess you could say. That's
because the story's about him going from folk to electric.
Yeah.
But like folk, I think like, the Buddy Holly or like, stuff like that,
Think of like Arlo Guthrie, like telling a story,
Or it's always like banjo happy stuff, like. What's the song Jenny sang in Forrest Gump there? When she was naked on the guitar there. Now, could that have been folky? Yeah. Sure. But they got pissed when he all of a sudden played
Moment in the Wind.
Yeah. Moment in the Wind, was that what it was? And what's her name? Joan Baez ended up singing it, right? Or
yes.
Anyways, it talks about their relationship and all that. It was very, 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 very good. And again, my turnaround on Bob Dylan was the Traveling Wilburys, which is probably one of the greatest super bands of all time. Like, there's great super bands, right? I always loved Audio Slave. People will bring up Clapton and all those guys. And
Damn Yankees.
Yeah, and all of them. The Traveling Wilburys, by far. Tom Petty and Bob Dylan together. It's like, I don't want to say similar singing style, right? Because again, Bob Dylan's the hey, right? But like Tom Petty's kind of like a like, like it's like they have these like. Why are you laughing at me?
All I can think of is free fall.
Yeah, like they have like I don't want to call it a twang, okay? But there's something there. Then you put Roy Orbison, and Jeff Lynne's just,
and Harrison.
And then George Harrison. This is like the greatest form band ever.
It's so good.
And there's 2 live living members still. And one of them is Bob Dylan. I think ELO just went on tour, by the way. I would love to see Jeff Lynne on tour.
I'm trying to think. I think they play the tent out there.
Oh, in Seaport?
I think so.
Oh, that's a good venue.
Weird Al there.
I used to think they were saying, you know how like songs growing up, you thought you knew the words, and then one day you're like, oh, geez. I used to think he was always saying medieval woman. But it's evil woman. And I just didn't, I always thought it was medieval. I don't know why. Just like when I was a kid, Material Girl, when she would sing, I used to think she was saying, I'm a Cheerio. I don't know why. I'm material.
So when you just said Hootie and the Blowfish put on a little Dylan.
Put on a little Dylan.
I'm today years old where I just realized
you didn't know that?
What you were saying.
Put on a little Dylan.
I thought you were saying put on a little Dilly, like just like
you
a
didn't
little,
know.
like a tune.
Put on a little Dylan.
I had no idea.
Sitting on a fence. The
dolphins make me cry. Is that music video not the most 90s thing ever,
oh,
too?
God, it's so like, I feel like with the Masters today in golf, I feel like that's what they're playing today, right? I've been a part of that bit before. I'm not going to do it today. But Ted said it best. Any song from the 90s, early 90s, you could go, hey-I-O-U. Yeah, that was his thing. All right, it's the noontime hour on this Sunday. We'll take a quick break. I'm Joe Murray, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
More Joe Murray coming up on the Sports Hub.
that last take was Buddy Holly was folk, which I was wrong on that one. I'll at least admit that. I was trying to think of something like banjo-y. I don't know why I went there. I could have said Johnny Flynn or somebody else, and I was on a roll, all right? So I'm wrong about that one. But someone is now, this is where it got really interesting, where people don't like when sports people talk about music. And listen, I'm not a music expert, and I didn't work for a music radio station, and, I didn't go on a band that toured or anything like that. But before I got into radio, I tried music. I sucked at it, but I learned production, and that's how I got on the air. But I love music. Like, I love music. And, I brought it up, so here we are now. Everyone's got an opinion about Bob Dylan. See, this is why Bob Dylan's so controversial, Jeff. It's that if you say something good about it, somebody doesn't like it. Or then they'll tell you that when he was with the band, was with the best. Or this, or that. Like, yes, this guy's a polarizing figure. But what I don't like is when this guy, JH Content, says nothing cringier than people like Murray, ooh, I didn't like that, who were born long after Dylan, which I admitted, disclaimer, didn't know or like and was ignorant about, which I said, thinking he wasn't folk. Like listening to Beatle and Zoe talk music. Whoa! Whoa, 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 whoa! Whoa! I at least know the name of the songs when we come back from break, because I requested the damn song. Didn't like that one. Now, was Bob Dylan folk? The movie, if you watched the movie, and if you didn't, don't comment, he didn't want to be anything. He didn't want to be considered folk or this or that, and that was the point of the movie. It's noon, Jeff. I'm awake, and now I'm yelling. Now I'm pissed. Oh, people like Murray sounded like Zoe. Oh. You know what? I kind of like when Zoe hears a song and doesn't know it or thinks about it, because there's a lot of songs I relate to that I think were bands that weren't.
Or he sings the complete wrong lyrics.
Yeah, but you know what, though? That's why I listen to the show. Or one of the reasons why, besides I support them. And I love McCone, who's running the marathon. Oh, man, everybody. Oh, someone dropped a dashboard confessional on you in there.
They're touring. I'm trying to think. I think they're touring with the Goo Goo Dolls this summer. I think I'm going to have to go see that.
Wow, you want to cry? That's a show. I'm missing your bed. I never sleep. Avoiding the spots. And this bottle of beast is taking me whole. Oh, my God. That was, dude, they were a coping mechanism, bro.
And you kiss me like you meant it.
Your hair. Oh, let's get the emo voice going. Your hair, it's
everywhere.
Oh, the emo voice. All right. I was just reading the chat, and I'm sorry my music takes pissed you off. But you know what? That's what I'm here for. Murray's music. Maybe we could make that a segment. We already have Murray's musings, right? Murray's music.
Murray's Music Minute.
Oh, well, I need more than a minute.
I think that's the whole joke.
Spencer, how you doing, buddy?
Good morning, guys. How you doing?
I'm hanging in there.
Hanging in there. Love the breakfast talk this morning. Appreciate that. And I don't think your voice goes high enough to really hit those emo notes. I love you. You have the deep growl for it. I don't think you're going to be able to pull it off. But
I used to be able to hit those Boys to Men notes back in the day.
Prove it.
Well, I'm now a 43-year-old man, so I can't do it anymore.
For sure. It'll be on your Murray's Music, not Musings music. We'll look forward to that.
Yes, we'll look forward to that. What do you got, buddy?
Yeah, real quick on the Bruins. Like the idea of Laviolette, and isn't Sullivan McAvoy's father-in-law? I like the idea of that, too. I'm out on Tortorella. Don't want him around there. And just real quick, want to tip my hat to Pasta. Talk about living up to your contract. How many players have we heard that are on a down team, a down year? They want to get traded. They want to poo-poo this or that. And he, to my knowledge, not a peep out of Pasta all year. And I know we don't cross sports here, but we talk at length about weaponizing the offense for Drake May. an elite center or someone to build around Pasta so that he continues to put up 100 points a year, that'd be great. And how about a first line of Sam Bennett, Mitch Marner, and Pasta? Only costs money, a lot of money, but that will be quite the pickup, assuming that the Panthers and the Maple Leafs let him walk. Happy Sunday, guys.
Thanks, Spencer. Mitch Marner is probably going to be $14 million, but he's the top guy. I'm looking at a restricted free agent, Marco Rossi. He's with the Wild. I feel like that's a guy that it's restricted. It'd be a trade, but Bennett, I just don't know. I mean, I'll take him. I love him. I just don't know if he'll come here. Very interesting on that one. He said something else. Oh, Pasta not being like a disturbance this year. I will give him credit for that. He could have hightailed it home.
You think that he played himself into the captain role? I think
so. If anything came out of this season, it's the positivity of Pastrnak now being the leader. And it's definitely on the ice. Can he be it off? Last week, remember someone went at me about the Ovechkin Pastrnak take. Could this season help mold some of the, being a captain and being tough and being responsible on the ice? Could that happen to Pastrnak? Again, I was shamed for that one because I like to localize, localize it. And by the way, you can always cross sports on my show. Completely fine with that. Someone said awesome song. Yes, it was. The Spin Doctors were at Mohegan Sun the other night. Would you go?
Yeah. Nope.
Besides, won't you call me baby? Just go.
Get me right.
What else did they sing?
Stink.
No, what else did they sing? Seriously.
I can't think of anything else. Little Miss Can't Be Wrong.
Oh,
Two
that
Princes.
was them?
That's pretty much it.
I thought that was another band. Who sang Breakfast at Tiffany's? That was
Deep Blue something.
You say that we got nothing in common. Man, the 90s had all that crap.
Oh, yeah, it was great.
It was really great.
Love it.
There was a lot going on. And then, the 90s had, everything, Verve Pipe, you name them. She is everything you want.
Vertical Horizon.
Yeah, oh, there goes another one. The 90s was loaded with Cake. I loved Cake.
Oh, yeah, Cake was great.
Great. Hey, there's a Korn documentary coming out. You see that?
See, is that really coming out? Because I've seen mixed reports where it's fake.
Oh, well, then I want it to come out.
Yeah, exactly, right? Just make it anyway.
I don't know why, but the other night I had this comparison of Jonathan Davis and Lil Wayne. I don't know why.
Same hair.
Yes, but they both kind of have that, Lil Wayne has that, when he raps, he has that,
tone.
Like that kind of, rap style thing. So was what Korn did Disturbed try to, wah? Did they try to do that kind of thing? Who sang Freshman?
The Verve Pipe.
Oh, yeah. For the life of me. That was another sad song. Jeez. Wish you would step back from the... We got to go to break. I'm Joe Murray, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Don't go anywhere. There's more Joe Murray. On the...
All right, back here at 98.5 The Sports. I've got a few minutes here before we hand things over to Grandy and Max. I want to give you a Masters update quickly, but first, just on the Patriots. I can't believe I did a whole show without really talking about the Patriots. How about that, huh? Mike Reese today on some of his quick hits. Will Campbell, the most likely offensive tackle selected if the Patriots do take a tackle. Mike Reese says today he's a Vrabel-type player. So keep that in mind. Adam Vinatieri spoke, who's a part of the new Patriots Hall of Fame, well, the finalists. I think he should get in over Edelman. I do think that Edelman gets in, but I hope that the younger crowd remembers what Adam Vinatieri was. But he talked about how him and Robert Kraft have kind of put past their differences. Of course, you all remember Adam Vinatieri finished his career with the Colts. And he always wanted a long-term deal with the Patriots, but they always would franchise him, and that really bothered him. He was not happy about that. And by the way, regarding the offensive line, I probably should have mentioned this, but they have 3 offensive line coaches. Like Marone's the head guy, but they really want to work with some of their young guys, so they have 3, which is very different than how other teams handle it. Usually there's 2, and I can't even remember what they did last year. The schedule release should be around May 13th, 14th, or 15th. So those days, keep those in mind. And since 2016, only DeAndre Hopkins has more career catches within 2 yards of the sideline than Stephon Diggs per Next Gen Stats. As far as touchdowns, Diggs 11 receiving touchdowns on those targets. Amari Cooper leads the league in that category, who's still a free agent. Keep that in mind. So those are most of your Patriots notes. The draft's coming up. We're hoping to have a full draft show if there is not a Celtics playoff game that night. As for the Masters, Rory McIlroy finished off a 6-under 66 for the first 54-hole lead in a major since he last captured it at the PGA back in 2014. A lot is at stake for him at the Masters. It's his chance to end an 11-year drought of chasing a Grand Slam and at the most elite tournament. 14 years ago, McIlroy, who was 21, had the long curly hair, if you remember, took a 4-shot lead into the final round of the Masters. What happened? He melted down. This is the best chance he's had at a green jacket. He recovered from 2 double bogeys in the opening round, and yesterday responded with 66-66. Joining him in the final group, nemesis Bryson DeChambeau, who ripped his heart out, if you can remember, at Pinehurst last June, and then took advantage of the mistake at the U.S. Open. Rory McIlroy is not only the sentimental favorite, but the betting favorite to win the championship. Bryson DeChambeau is one of the most popular golfers and one of the best entertainers. The arena is Augusta National. It's the greatest theater in golf, and we're getting Rory versus DeChambeau on Sunday. Should also mention that Justin Rose absolutely tanked. Shot a 1-shot lead at the start of the day, shot 75. He's now 7 shots back. Defending champion Scotty Scheffler wasn't too thrilling yesterday. He's moved back of the pack. He had 2 birdies, shot a 72. Patrick Reed is still hanging around. He won the Masters in 2018. Ludwig Aberg was the runner-up a year ago, but he got real hot, finished 69, while Shane Lowry, also in the mix, 2 shots of the lead at one point, but he missed a good birdie chance on 15 yesterday. This is going to be a thrilling finish, and to me, I think it's about star power in golf. No Tiger Woods, and I don't think anybody expected Tiger to be a competitor in the Masters or anything like that. But golf is in a really good position after Tiger. Today, you're going to get it. Rory DeChambeau. Can a Reed, Lowry, or Scheffler have a huge day to stay in the running? Do most people think that Rory is going to choke? Is Bryson DeChambeau the Happy Gilmore of today? What I mean by that, entertaining. No comparison there. It's gonna be a showdown. Bow, 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 bow. Little ELO in there for you, huh? It's gonna be a showdown. Rory DeChambeau, 2 stars to finish it all off. It's the Masters Sunday. I wonder if anyone's going to wear their Sunday red. That'd be funny. All right, we get the Celtics. Sean Silver's going to take over, everybody. I'll be back tomorrow night at 7 o'clock here on the Sports Hub, and then I am off to the road to WrestleMania. The grandest stage of them all. The Masters, Augusta, the grandest stage of them all. And also the Celtics regular season finale in the NBA playoffs coming up. The biggest stage of them all. That's it. Jeff Williams, excellent job. Thank you to all my haters who did not like my music talk. I apologize, but I'm not sorry. We got to get out of here. Celtics basketball is coming up next. I'm Joe Murray here on 98.5 The Sports Zone.
From the Town Fair Tire Studios, this is Boston's home for sports. WBCFM at HD Boston 98.5 The Sports Hub. This is Boston Celtics basketball.
The 1957 season is over. The Celtics are the world champions.
The Celtics are brought to you